Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, supporters and partners. My name is Joy Cawthorn, and I serve as the Chief Development Officer for the Southeastern Pennsylvania region. It is my privilege to welcome you to the fourth virtual speaker series entitled Red Cross House and the Disaster Recovery Process. This presentation is designed to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how our Red Cross House operates. I am excited to introduce to you our presenters today. First, you will hear from Maureen Streeter, who has served as a disaster recovery case manager for over 6 years. And then she will hand it over to Brian Jones, who has been serving a little more than a year as a volunteer disaster recovery caseworker. We are so grateful for their service to our life-saving mission and their time to discuss this important subject with us today. Before I turn it over to our presenters, I would like to share a few participant tips for you. This presentation is being recorded, so please stay on mute to reduce echoes and background noise. If you hear an echo, please lower your volume slightly. To keep our presentation within the allotted time, we will not have a live question and answer session. I encourage you to email or call your Red Cross contact that invited you to today's event with any questions or requests for more information. Thank you, and without further ado, I would like to start with our Red Cross House video, and following the video, we'll hear from Maureen Streeter. Enjoy.
Okay, hello. I'm Maureen Streeter, and I'm one of the disaster recovery case managers for the Red Cross, Southeastern Pennsylvania region.
As firefighters in Philadelphia, we see houses destroyed everywhere.
Okay. So I have the awesome pleasure of working at the Red Cross House. The reason I emphasize the is because it is one of a kind and the only one in the country. The Red Cross House is a unique facility located in the University City area of Philadelphia and a wonderful resource to the community. We have 26 suite-style rooms, adjoining rooms for large families, and there's a full-service dining area where 3 meals a day are served, a library, laundry room, and computer and training room available to the families. We also have a beautiful playground for our families with children. The Red Cross House is the Center for Disaster and Recovery. We provide short-term housing and immediate resources to meet the needs of people affected by disasters, such as floods, building collapses, and most commonly fires. At the Red Cross House, we meet our clients' needs physically: food, water, shelter, clothing, monetary assistance. We offer emotional support, disaster mental health, disaster spiritual health, and disaster health services, which addresses the client's well-being. Another unique resource and partnership that we provide is Red Paw, which is an emergency service dedicated to helping pets displaced by house fires and other residential disasters. We also provide informational support through partnerships and advocacy on behalf of our families. All of this is at no fee to the families. Now, I'd like to take you through what it looks like when a client first walks through the doors of the Red Cross House. Imagine you have just experienced a disaster that deemed your home as uninhabitable. You might arrive in a cab with only the clothes you ran out of the house with. When you walk through the big red doors, you will see that it is a warm, safe, welcoming, and comforting environment. Families are immediately greeted with a genuine smile from one of our disaster care residential workers or volunteers who conduct an intake. The intake entails an overview of the facility, and we capture information that helps us assess what tools or resources the clients will need for recovery. The family is escorted to their suite, which becomes their home away from home for the moment. Once they're settled and somewhat acclimated to their environment, they meet with a case manager, and we begin the work of the recovery plan. As a disaster recovery case manager, I help families develop a recovery plan, problem solve, and direct them to other community resources. Case managers work with clients up to 1 year. Our clients' circumstances are unique, and their recovery plans vary depending on their specific needs. Some clients recover quickly and stay at the Red Cross House for a short while because they may have homeowners insurance or renters insurance. However, for some of our clients, they have no insurance. The damage to the home is so great that they must start over and find themselves homeless. In these cases, we work with the client to help them transition successfully into either temporary housing or permanent housing by collaborating with organizations such as the Office of Homeless Services and Project Home. Other services specific to the Red Cross House are our workshops. We offer a fire prevention workshop that's facilitated by the Philadelphia Fire Department. There are financial planning workshops from area banks and Urban League of Philadelphia, homeowners, renters insurance workshops from State Farm Insurance, a trauma and loss workshop from Council of Relationships, and we have an in-house resource volunteer coordinator who helps us with housing and job searches. Our clients attend these workshops and come away with valuable information that helps with their recovery. One of the many things that I love about the environment at the Red Cross House is how families connect through their common experience and encourage one another, and they build friendships. The environment is transient, but the Red Cross House experience has a lasting positive impact on the families who stay there. So much so that we have families return to say thank you and expressing that they want to give back to the Red Cross to show their gratitude. So now I want to address how COVID impacted the Red Cross House. In March of this year, COVID-19 disrupted the way in which we serve our clients. We did have to close our doors, which modified how we were able to assist our families. We are currently working remotely, but still providing quality service to our families. Families who have nowhere to go after a disaster are often given cash assistance to stay at a hotel for a few days. We work with the families to find temporary shelter while they work on securing permanent housing. We still interact with our clients daily, but through phone calls, emails, and when necessary, in person. but using precautions that follow COVID-19 guidelines for safety. Despite the changes that COVID caused, it didn't change the fact that fires still happen, floods still occur, and people still need relief from disasters. The funding we receive helps support our work. Funding is provided to help families move from an unstable to a stable living environment. Funding provides durable and tangible goods needed for health and living needs and mental health and spiritual support. Without the donations, funding, and in-kind support we receive, we would not be able to fulfill our mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. It's extremely rewarding for me to be in a position to help people work through their crises and to serve those in need of our many services. I'm also grateful to work alongside staff and volunteers who work hard to help those families successfully recover from their disaster. One of those volunteers that I have the pleasure of working with is our volunteer caseworker, Brian Jones. He joined our team about a year ago. He's very effective in helping our clients and a great asset to the Red Cross House and organization. He is going to share his perspective and experience at the Red Cross House next. Thank you all for your time and your interest. Brian.
Thank you, Maureen. Good afternoon. It is my great pleasure to share with you my experience with the American Red Cross. I am currently a grad student studying mental health counseling, working to be a therapist. I was in a crisis counseling class, and our professor had shared some organizations that also supported families during or after a crisis. The American Red Cross was on top of that list. It was at that time that I realized I'd never volunteered before, and decided to do some research and see where I can lend my support in an impactful way. The American Red Cross was a perfect fit, and after an interview, I was ready to go as a disaster recovery caseworker working at the Red Cross House. It became immediately clear to me how important the Red Cross House is to the city of Philadelphia. After a crisis, families are in great distress, and in most cases, they can't even think about what next steps they need to take on their road to recovery. The Red Cross House gives them something that they all need at that time, and that is a sense of security. They do not have to worry about a next meal or where to sleep at night. This allows me the opportunity to help my families in their recovery. After I provide some much needed support for their immediate needs, such as clothes and how to replace lost documents, we then spend our conversations talking about the what's next in their recovery. This can be by providing additional resources, such as finding a place to live, reaching out to their extended families, and creating a game plan. Even just me being present at the Red Cross House, I can make an impact. I remember walking in one day and seeing a couple sitting in a common TV room, and the wife looked like she was crying earlier. I introduced myself, and then I invited them to my office so we can talk. They explained that they found an apartment to move into, but they were short $300 for the down payment. I didn't ask if they reached out to their case manager, and they told me they didn't because the Red Cross had already done so much for them. I immediately reached out to the case manager and was able to help secure the funds needed to move in. I reminded them both that we're here to support them and to never be afraid to ask for help or assistance at any time. Stories like this happens often, and it's so heartwarming for me to help empower families on their road to recovery. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has shut down the Red Cross House, but my task as a caseworker still goes on. I am still able to communicate with my families and provide the resources remotely. I am able to advocate and provide much needed support for my families. One example is a mom and her 2 children were displaced due to a fire, and she did not know if she could move back home or not. She was not getting any answers from her landlord, and she was getting frustrated and worried. We first worked out a game plan where she can stay with a family member for a week or so, and then I called the landlord myself on her behalf. He answered, and I introduced myself as a caseworker for the American Red Cross. Upon hearing that, I was able to get some answers to pass on, and my family moved back in a week later. I also expanded my role at the American Red Cross by joining the Disaster Action Team. This is the team of people that are present at the site right after the disaster happens. We gather information and provide that immediate support, such as lodging, before the family meets their case manager. This places me in a unique ability of being in the beginning stages as well as the recovery stage of a family's journey. I have also volunteered in major natural disasters by joining in disaster relief operations. My last, what we call DRO, was in Mississippi after a tornado hit there earlier this year. Typically, I would be deployed to go on site, but COVID-19 prevented that. I was still able to assist families virtually though. I help provide funds to assist in repairs and work with families to apply for federal grants from organizations such as FEMA. Throughout my time at the American Red Cross, my love for volunteering continues to grow and has been a life-changing experience for me. I am surrounded by people that are not only passionate about families that they help, but also about me personally. I have grown both as a person and a future therapist through my volunteer work, and this is something that I will be doing for many years to come. I'd like to thank you so much for your support. And now here's a video showcasing an actual family that we have helped.
This fire that we had, we were actually home. Obviously, a fire is very traumatic. Thank God that our family made it out. It's some families who don't make it out. Red Cross showed up, provided our children with teddy bears and cheese curls. And as soon as we got out, one of the main things that the Red Cross helped us with is to keep our family together. It was the most beneficial for us.
Separation
wasn't an answer for us. I mean, to know that the little playground area is something that's a new extension to the Red Cross is so cool. I mean, my kids went down. I even got on the big xylophone. It warmed their hearts. They keep them to be able to be happy while being here and still being a kid through the traumatic experience.
Keeping that smile, you know, when you're going through something, kids can just change the whole dynamic of the day. And that's what I love, and that's what keeps us to have that drive to keep on pursuing. And the Red Cross gave us a good opportunity to get that jump start back on track.
That set everything else a good start, and obviously we're about to exit. It's going to be a good finish.
Wow. I would like to thank our presenters and all of you for taking time out of your busy personal and busy professional schedules to join us today. I hope that you will be able to join us for our next virtual speaker series on November the 4th, entitled Service to Armed Forces, How the Red Cross Supports Our Military and Their Families. Again, please feel free to email your Red Cross contact that invited you to today's event with any questions or requests for more information. Thanks again for joining us, and have an awesome day.